welcome back to the second episode of Sleeping Beauty, the story of how I got a Jaguar Mk2 and managed to get it back on the road. So I hope you enjoyed episode 1, which showed what the car was like when I first got it and before it was picked up. So in this episode you'll see the day of anticipation had finally arrived. It was like Christmas morning. Everybody knows what it's like with the lead up to Christmas when you're a kid and the morning finally arrives. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you about the car pickup and getting it to my place, and it really did feel like Christmas. So sit back, enjoy, and I hope you enjoy episode 2. So 2 weeks of torturous waiting had finally finished, thank goodness for that. The morning had arrived and the tow truck turned up on time. We did strike a bit of a snag though. Even though the truck had a long bed, the angle was still a bit steep, and as you can see there's not very much room between the back bumper and the tray, so we were a bit worried that the bumper would snag on the tray. The other worry I had was that how on earth was the cable going to be attached? So that took quite a bit of thinking as well. You can probably deduce that the truckie wasn't the smallest guy in the world, but it's amazing how nimble he was. He was underneath the car like a shot, and he'd obviously done this time and time again. I'm sure he was cursing under his breath, but he didn't say anything. So once the cable was attached, we struck a second snag. So as the car was being wound up, it became obvious that the roof was going to hit the tilter door on the garage. Luckily it missed by about 5mm and didn't get wedged. I'm not too sure what we would have done if we got stuck. The truckie was kind of one of those guys who doesn't muck around. I was a bit concerned about the truck basically blocking the whole street off. The street's right near a very exclusive private school, and that particular road is swarming with cars at that time of day. So I said to him, aren't you concerned about the truck in the street blocking the traffic? And he said, no mate, that's their problem, not mine, I've got a job to do. So the car was loaded and off we went. I followed the truck from behind, but to be honest, it was a bit harrowing. But we made it to my place, and here she is. I was now confident that the truckie was my friend, and he didn't care about any main roads being blocked off. So I live on quite a main road as well, and he's obviously done this before. My driveway isn't very wide, and he got in first go. Undid the car. So you would have seen when the car was on the tow truck, the nose of the car was facing towards the rear of the tilt tray. What that meant is the car had to come into the garage nose first. Well, I had actually marked it all out so it would come in nose towards the roller door. My garage is pretty small, and it's only a single garage, so I was a bit concerned about whether the car would fit or not. So what I did before the tow was to download a picture of the dimensions of the Jag Mk2, and with great difficulty marked it all out on the floor with masking tape. So I knew exactly where the tow truck had to drop the car. Even though it came in forwards, not backwards, the markings were still fine. When the guy released the car off the tray, just unchained it, I'd already told him it didn't have a handbrake that worked, and it didn't, and it had no brakes either. The pedal just went flat to the floor. So he tilted the tray up and pushed the car, and the car rolled straight down, no brakes, straight into my emergency stop, which you can see busted that piece of wood. Luckily it didn't do any damage to itself, and that piece of wood is a stark reminder to always make sure that a handbrake works, or that someone explicitly knows that it doesn't work. So there you go, Sleeping Beauty's now in her new home, all safe and snug, but I can see that she just wants to go. So in the next few episodes I'll be telling you about what I had to do to get the car back on the road, and there might be some detail in some of the episodes that Jaguar Mk2 lovers might like to look at, because it might be helpful in their own journey. So see you next episode. Next one will be episode 3. Thanks very much for watching.